there's a correlation between self-esteem and ego. As self-esteem increases, ego goes down. As self-esteem decreases, ego rises. And what does it practically mean to have a big ego today? To have a big ego means blaming people. To have a big ego is being a person being very, very not willing to be open-minded, very small perspective, looks at everything the wrong way all the time. So our ego blocks our perspective. So how do you know you're building your self-esteem? You're radically open-minded to change. Imagine if somebody's single for, they're 20, 35 years single, and you tell them, listen, I think you need to do this to get married. What are you talking about? I do this already. What do you know? There you go, big ego. At the end of the day, because it doesn't mean you have to take the information sensitive. You have to, okay, it's information. Let me see what I can use and what I can't use. But you see, sometimes we touch on very, very, very sore topics in our classes, obviously, because this is not a radio, and topics that are going to make change. But some of these topics, people run away from these topics because it hits the wrong nerve. But that's exactly what's supposed to happen. That means if you're walking out of a class always happy, you have a problem. You have a problem. The class sometimes has to bother you a little bit. It has to bother you a little bit because if it bothers you a little bit, whatever doesn't challenge you doesn't change you. So it's okay to be a little sensitive, a little bothered sometimes, because that means usually we have to change some area. So that's the correlation. As you're going to see, the correlation, how do you know practically is my self-esteem increases? Is basically you're going to recognize you're more open-minded. You look at situations in life where instead of looking, oh my God, this is bad or good, you'll be curious instead of saying it's bad or good. Another way you know that your self-esteem is increasing is when you start realizing people stop insulting you so much. And if they do insult you, you don't really care. That's another sign of a healthy ego, a healthy self-esteem. That what people say to you doesn't really bother you as much as it did before. Before you were really bothered, but now they could say the same exact thing and you couldn't care less. That means you have a healthy self-esteem. Doesn't mean you have to be arrogant, but it means not everything that happens to you is about you. Again, healthy self-esteem means I'm working on myself, I know my value, your opinion is not going to change my opinion of myself. And it's very, very, this is so important.